A colleague recommended the Nearpod app to me as an app that could be used in the classroom for the teacher to share content with the students on separate iOS devices, and the student during a presentation can give feedback through polls and drawing and quizzes and so forth. So I thought, I'll go out to the App Store and check this out. So then when I looked at the ratings and reviews, I found that in the current version there are 29 reviews with an overall rating of 4.5 stars. Most of the feedback from the customers that have tried Nearpod have said that they appreciated the fact that they could get that feedback from their students while they're doing a classroom content review. So the next step that I took was to go to our app review and see how it rated on a mode score. And overall, this particular app got a mode score of 4, and the biggest piece was looking at the fact that the app is a good tool for students to provide feedback while going through a lesson, and it is fairly easy for the students to use in a lesson. After you download the Nearpod app onto your iOS device, you will need to create an account. And in this account is where you will actually create and share your content that you want to push out to all of your students onto their iOS devices. At this time, all content must be uploaded on the nearpod.com website, and that must be done on your computer using either Firefox, Chrome, or Safari. They say in the very near future they will have the ability where you can be on your iPad to upload that content and share that content. So for now, you need to go to your computer and go to nearpod.com. When you get there, you can actually create your account there if you haven't done so on your iPad, or just go ahead and sign in. So I've already created an account, so I'll get signed into my account. I can go ahead and go to Create. Now in the Create, you'll see here that I already have some presentations that I have uploaded up to Nearpod to share with students and interact with students on their iOS devices. To upload content, it's fairly simple. You'll see here in the toolbar on the website this little icon here to add a new presentation. When I click on that, I have two options. I can start from scratch, add all of the different pieces I want for that presentation from scratch, or I can drag a file or go and browse for a file to add my presentation that I've already done in PowerPoint or another format, or images, or maybe a video that I have, so that my students can view that and interact with that, and then I can add some different pieces to it. Now, one thing to keep in mind, all presentations must be saved in a PDF format to be added to nearpod.com. All videos need to be in an MP4 format, and then you'll see your size limitation when you go to the website on what you can upload. Alright, so I'm going to go to a presentation that I've already uploaded in PDF format, and so show you how you can edit it and add some pieces to engage your students in the presentation on their own iOS devices. You'll see you have a toolbar up here where you can edit, you can delete presentations. There's a maximum of 10 presentations on there. You can actually clone this presentation so you can have different versions for different classes with different questions. The share option is only available in other license agreements. You can view what you have so far, and this is when you're ready to publish it. It's all ready to go. So we're going to go back to this edit icon here. And here's where you have the option to add different pieces to your presentation. So when I look at this, I can add more slides, I can add some images, I can add a poll, questions and answers, a quiz, a video. I can go ahead and have something for the students to draw. And the browse the internet option is only available when you use another licensing agreement. So right now I want to have a poll of the students. I want to get a feel from the students of what is their biggest internet safety concern, because this is an internet safety presentation. Now when I go into the different options, I have some settings over here where I can say, what kind of answering. Can they select more than one answer? Can you add an image for them to look at? I can also create this as something that they have a blank answer and they just fill in the answer, or I can give them answers here to choose from. So I will give them some answers to choose from. And I save that. Now when I have that, it's kind of slid down all the way down to the bottom of my presentation. So all I need to do is go ahead and click and drag that slide where I want it in the presentation. Okay, so now I have a poll in here for my students before we even begin. I've also added in here prior, I created a draw feedback here. And so I can go ahead and put in a piece and ask them to draw a poster for me, or draw out a math problem if you're doing a math lesson, and so forth. And I save that, and the students will have an opportunity to draw during the presentation to give me some feedback. Once I have all of my pieces in there, there's one thing that's very important to remember with Nearpod. You must have a slide prior to an interactive item such as a poll or a drawing. And you must have a slide at the end of your presentation. And so here you'll see that I have my drawing at the very end. It won't let me save. I need to bump that before the final slide in my presentation and click Done. When I feel like the presentation is ready to go, I click on it and I say Publish. It says, are you ready to publish presentation? I am ready. It's got everything that I need in there. Once you've uploaded your presentation to nearpod.com, you'll go to your iPad and open up the Nearpod app. And on that app, you'll go ahead and log in and look at My Library. In My Library, you'll see all the presentations I've uploaded onto nearpod.com. This is the one we were just working on. So if I click on it, it'll then give me an option to launch that presentation. And when I click on Launch, I'm going to say no, I don't want to resume a previous presentation, and you can go ahead and say Submit and fill that out later. Once this presentation is launched, it gives you a PIN number up in the top left-hand corner. You can click on that and actually send out an email to all of your students if you have the option to email it out, or email it out to colleagues. Or you can go ahead and just give all of your students your PIN number. So this one, it's FNGPA. So now when we go to the student device, you need to make sure the student device has Nearpod app loaded onto their device. Once they launch that app, they have down in the right-hand corner a spot to enter the PIN. So we'll go ahead and enter that PIN from the teacher presentation. And it loads that presentation. So when I back up here and look at the two different devices, you'll see on the left-hand side the teacher's view, the right-hand side the student's view. Now as a teacher, I can control that presentation while they watch it on their device. Now when you launch a presentation, it automatically adds a slide for the students to sign in. So I just go ahead and swipe across and it takes me to that sign-in page. And you'll see over here on the student device, it pops up for them to actually put in their name so I know who's actually logged in and doing this. So I'll go ahead and say that Carrie is joined the session. It's going to tell that student, thank you for joining. I'll come back over here and you'll see on the teacher device, Carrie is logged in as a student. You'll also see in the top left-hand corner, there's a little green icon that states that one person is logged into the presentation. After you've seen that all of your students have logged in, you can go ahead and advance to the next slide. And for us, our next slide is a poll for the students. And you'll see from the student's viewpoint, they're asked the question, what is your biggest internet safety concern? All they need to do is go ahead and click on their choice and submit it. Now from the teacher's viewpoint here, I'll get all the feedback instantaneously from my students. So at this point, you'll see that Carrie answered cyberbullying. And you'll see from this graph here, 100% of the answers say cyberbullying because there's only one student. So as students answer, you'll see more and more feedback. And you can go ahead and go through the entire presentation with the students. And as you go through, they will follow along with you. So as a teacher, you can actually, instead of just scrolling slide by slide here, you have the option to go through your entire presentation along the bottom here and choose particular slides you want to share with your students at a certain time. So let's say we're ready for them to do the task when we said we wanted them to draw something. So we can click on that particular slide and you'll see up here that I can say share. And when I say share, the students have the option now to do that slide. This is a drawing one, so here we ask them to create an internet safety poster. So you'll see here that the student can just go ahead and draw. And once they're done drawing, they can submit their answer. And as a teacher, you'll get the automatic feedback of that poster. So you'll see an example there of that poster. What's nice then is that I can actually take that poster and also share posters with the students. So when I click share, the students will all see that particular poster from that student. So it's a great way to collaborate and share answers automatically across all of the iOS devices in your classroom. Another great thing about the Nearpod app is that you do not have to have an iOS device for your students to log in and participate. So if you are in a classroom that has computers, you can give the students a link to go to your Nearpod presentation and interact as well. That information on the website to access Nearpod through the computer is available on nearpod.com in their Quick Start Guide. So this is also an important piece of information to get more information on how to create a successful Nearpod to collaborate with your students in the classroom.